Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat, and the big focus on this bulletin is the earthquakes that hit Myanmar and the devastation that they have caused. In fact, it's a series of earthquakes, around 6, the biggest of which was 7.7 magnitude, which hit Myanmar at around 12:50 p.m. their time, with tremors and aftershocks striking parts of Thailand, China, India, Vietnam and Bangladesh. So far, 13 deaths have been reported from Myanmar, but differing figures. In fact, in the media there you can see a bridge that actually collapsed there, but the death toll is expected to rise, with Myanmar's ruling military saying many civilians were killed and injured. Remember, it's a very poor country. Aid agencies fear the eventual toll in this secretive nation and others affected could run into hundreds. There you can see some of the damage at some of the monasteries there. Visuals have also emerged from Thailand, and the visuals of the larger devastation, collapsed bridges, buildings from Bangkok, shaking skyscrapers, with the water from infinity pools falling hundreds of feet to the ground. We'll just bring up those visuals as well of Thailand, where major impact of the earthquake was felt as well, where people had to run out onto the streets. In fact, they've still not gone back inside many of those buildings. The most worrying, or the biggest impact, has been seen on the under construction building that collapsed, a skyscraper that was under construction that collapsed, trapping scores of workers. That's what we know right now, that scores of workers are trapped there. It has been declared a disaster area, and efforts are being made to rescue those workers who are trapped under the rubble. Now, there has been an international reaction, of course. Prime Minister Modi said that India is ready to offer any assistance needed. He said, praying for the safety and well-being of everyone, and have asked our authorities to be on standby. Leaders of European nations have also offered all assistance. So there you can see scenes coming in from Thailand. But let's talk about Myanmar right now. Remember, Myanmar is a nation that's under military junta rule, and not too much information forthcoming right now. Let's go across to Disha. And Disha, what we are hearing, from reports in the international media who are speaking to aid workers who are there, that there are fears that the number of deaths could run into hundreds.
Absolutely, Gagi. So far what we are hearing from UN officials as well as Red Cross officials who are in Myanmar is that hundreds, the death toll can go up to thousands even, because there's very little aid agencies who are actually present in Myanmar, who have access to the people, and in fact the infrastructure level there is also quite poor, the health infrastructure. And just to talk about the viewers who are joining us, to talk about what the order of events that took place that has led to this devastating earthquake. In fact, at noon local time in Myanmar is when a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Mandalay, which is the second largest city in Myanmar, and it's around the northwest of Myanmar, which is the epicenter of this earthquake. And followed by that, there was a 6.4 magnitude aftershock and another earthquake that took place in Bangkok, and which is another area where there's been massive devastation, and which is where we've been getting a lot of these visuals of massive buildings collapsing. But right now here you can see the visual from Bangkok, where a skyscraper which was under construction completely turned to rubble within minutes of this earthquake, and you can see panic across the streets of Bangkok, where people are just running from this devastation, trying to flee and save their lives. And so far, what we've heard is that 43 people who were buried in the rubble. From them, some have been rescued, but the rescue operations continue. But when it comes to at the current moment in Bangkok, the Thai officials are saying that the situation is now under control and things are the situation is starting to ease. But looking at Myanmar now, the military junta in Myanmar, who's been in power since 2021, has said that there's going to be mass casualties, and the impact of this devastating earthquake is expected to be quite significant. So they have even made a rare move and have actually sought international relief and international aid from across the globe.
Right.
So quite a devastating earthquake that has hit this region.
Right, just gives you a sense of, the magnitude of the devastation that is in place. Thanks so much, Disha, for joining us with that. And let's focus on Thailand as well. As Disha was reporting there, a lot of devastation in Bangkok, and the most, the focus on that building that has collapsed. A local reporter there, Aditya Dogra, sent us this report.
The tremors have subsided, but Bangkok is still reeling with confusion and panic, with people all over the streets and huge traffic jams around the city after a significant seismic event in Myanmar triggered shock waves that left Bangkok buildings, offices, condos, and other areas shaking violently, and mass evacuations taking place. I'm here in the Sukhumvit area of Bangkok, where people are still waiting outside their condos and offices after the mass evacuations that took place, and they'll only be able to enter the buildings back again once maintenance checks and everything are in place. Traffic jams seem to be a common sight right now around the city, with some of them even stretching beyond an hour, and ambulance and fire trucks are a common sight. Social media has been flooded with pictures and videos from across Bangkok showcasing the confusion, panic, and devastation caused by the earthquake, and reports coming from the north part of the city indicate that there's been severe structural damage as well as collapsed buildings, where more than 43 workers right now are trapped. Although efforts are in place to rescue them at the moment, it is actually Bangkok's humanity and its spirit of community that has really shined in this time. People and businesses both have come out to support others who have been mass evacuated from the buildings, and are offering free water, food, and even shelter, as well as authorities are maintaining peace and trying to make the best out of the situation at the moment.
We are currently analyzing the reports related to damage primarily in Myanmar. We are in touch with the official authorities in Myanmar, and are also looking at the exact requirements in terms of the assistance and relief material that might be required. You're aware that India has always been a first responder, especially in its neighborhood, whenever these kinds of natural disasters have taken place.
All right, the Foreign Secretary there speaking on the situation, how India is monitoring what the damage and situation in Thailand and Myanmar. Well, to talk more about the impact of this earthquake, or earthquakes rather, we're now joined by Divya Vijay, an Indian resident there in Bangkok, and Dr. Atindra Kumar Shukla, earthquake expert and former Deputy Director General, Earthquake Risk Evaluation Center. Thank you so much both for joining us. And firstly, Divya Vijay, I'd like you to share your experience with us.
It was a regular day. We started our day normally, and I go to office. But today I was at home. I was working, and then somewhere around 1:30 p.m., I felt my bed shaking and trembling. At first, I ignored it. I didn't pay any attention. But then when it kept continuing trembling, I had a thought that it might be an earthquake. But it was really hard to believe, because I'm here from almost like 19 years on and off, and I never felt something like this. But I heard people shouting, people running, and I saw walls around me cracking. Then I was sure that it was an earthquake, and a very strong one. I held my house help's hand. She was also shouting badly. So I held her hand, and we ran away through the stairs. And when I reached downstairs, it was total chaos there. People were anxious, they were nervous, they were crying, and I saw people were bleeding on their knees and elbows. I saw a pregnant lady who came all through the 12th floor, and she was petrified. And I saw that there were ambulances everywhere around. There was traffic jam. My kids were stuck in school, and they took around 3 hours to reach at my place at home. So
My God.
It
Yes. So
wasn't
what
good.
an
Yeah.
experience. I mean, really. And now that we're seeing the kind of visuals, I can see you're back in your house, I think, is it? And if you could, did it take time for them to allow you all back in? Where are you talking to us from? Because we do know that they are going to do checks in many of the buildings. People weren't being allowed to go
Yes.
back indoors.
We were downstairs for like 3-4 hours, and we were allowed to come upstairs now to pack our things, and then we have to again go back downstairs. We will leave in a while. So there are cracks all over in my home, and my washroom tiles are cracked too.
All right. So you are back home, and this is just so you can pack up and leave. We'll talk more about, the kind
Yes.
of reaction there was by the authorities. But Dr. Atindra Kumar, your comments on this, these visuals we're seeing are so scary, especially from Thailand, because I think that's where we're seeing these big buildings. We're seeing the pools just sloshing water onto the sides of the buildings, and then the kind of reactions that have been, people rushing downstairs, authorities, really kicking in to that emergency mode that's needed.
Yeah, it's a very big event and very unfortunate event has occurred in Myanmar. We should condolence for this the people. If you compare with this earthquake with our in Indian earthquake, so there was earthquake in 2001 in Kutch. So it is little better, greater than of the Kutch earthquake. So a lot of devastation taken place in this Kutch area. Yeah, and you can see it has gone. The devastation has gone to the up to the Ahmedabad. It's very far from this the epicenter. So similar situation is there. Lot of destruction, of course, in the Myanmar also, but it has reached to the Bangkok because it is about 1,000 kilometers. And the second thing, important thing is that this earthquake, in Kutch earthquake, the earthquake epicenter was 20 kilometers below the ground. And this earthquake was 10 kilometers, only 10 kilometers. So naturally, the energy has reached to the very easily. It cannot dissipate in this one. So this is the very, very big earthquake and a lot of casualty. And of course, as you say, as you are showing the building. But I'm relieved little bit that the building where water is coming out from this, there must be some swimming pool inside, out above the hotel. But the building seems to be intact.
Yes.
So that's a good sign. Of course, there may be some fault in constructing this swimming pool, but the building is intact. The other thing I have seen your visual that the building has collapsed. It's a relief for me that this building was under construction. It's not because of this constructed building. So one more important thing that the construction, particularly for high-rise building, is comparatively good in that area. Then one more important thing that this has happened in daytime. Suppose it would have happened in the night, a lot of the casualty and destruction could have been. Destruction, of course, would have been same. The casualty would have been very, very high.
Right, Dr. Atindra, you spoke about the Kutch earthquake, and I was, reminded of that actually, because at that time too we saw, buildings shaking. I remember there were two buildings in Ahmedabad that came very close to one another, almost hitting each other. We're also joined by Pavan Mishra, President, PSG Group, and Director, Indo-Thai Chamber of Commerce. And Pavan, thank you so much for being with us. We will just speak to you. We have to slip into a short break, and we'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Our big focus right now, hundreds are feared dead as an earthquake hit Myanmar and Thailand. In fact, a series of earthquakes with dozens who are trapped in a collapsed building in Bangkok. Now, we're joined by Pavan Mishra, President, PSG Group, and Director, Indo-Thai Chamber of Commerce, and Divya Vijay as well. And Pavan, just before this, we were speaking to Divya about her experience of this earthquake. If you could share with us, where were you when the earthquake hit? What did you do?
Good evening, Gargi. I was in Jewelry Trade Center, which is world 8th largest building, and we were on 36th floor, and it was really painful. We ran away from there by stairs, and actually we thought that this is last day of our life, but hopefully everything is fine, and yeah.
I mean, you must be, both of you must be feeling so grateful when you see the extent of damage that was really caused. And yes, it must have been absolutely terrifying. If you could, elaborate more when you got down, what did you see? What was the reaction? Where are you now?
I'm actually just opposite there. There's one Holiday Inn hotel. So I'm sitting in lobby of Holiday Inn hotel, and I'm talking with you. So it was really a lot of people on the streets. Still, traffic is too much. So that's why I'm waiting here and waiting for traffic get down. So we will leave from here. But it's extremely a really bad situation, and we are very happy that we are survived.
Yes, I absolutely. And, a lot of, fear and there was panic at the time as we were speaking to some people there. But really, it seems authorities have, stepped in and guiding people. And, everything seems so far to be under control, all hands on deck. Of course, we're waiting for more information about the collapsed building and the people trapped there. Dr. Tindra Shukla, if you can also just talk about this reaction, because that is also very important. People need to know. Like Divya was sharing with us earlier, initially she says in all her years in Thailand, she's never experienced an earthquake. So initially she was even surprised that whether it was an earthquake, and how she and her house help then held hands and, had to run down the stairs. So people need to know what the reaction needs to be, and just to get to a safe space and then wait for authorities to really come in and tell you what to do.
My reaction is very sad because I'm in Delhi. So I'm just watching and giving interview in different channels. But it's a very, very, very sad event. But as you, Myanmar is not the safe place. It is a zone where three very big plates are colliding. So this is the effect of this tectonic feature. So it is already known that the possibility of such earthquake can occur at any time. So it's not unknown thing has happened. And I don't know how the Myanmar is prepared. Of course, you have shown the Bangkok, and Bangkok, as you have, most of the buildings seems to be unlike that gentleman has also came up from 39 story. So
Yes.
its building seems to be very safe, and it is built properly, of course, except this building which you are repeatedly showing that water is coming out. The swimming pool that has created this problem, but the building seems to be safe. But in Myanmar, I don't know what is the situation. Lot of corrections where the epicenter was there, and it is very great tectonic feature because of this has occurred. So it's very sad, and we should take lesson from this type of earthquake from, of course, in India, Thailand there was Turkey there was earthquake recently. It's not recently, but a few years ago. So
Right.
we should take lesson of that, and we should be prepared. We should try to prepare, because preparation is, I don't know whether it seems that not well prepared for the pre-disaster management. Of course, the post-disaster management is okay. Now the India will also send some.
Right, India has also offered, all help in this situation. And yes, it's very, very tragic. Myanmar, we're hearing from aid workers, could be in the hundreds, maybe thousands that people have died. But thank you so much all for joining us, and do stay safe. Divya Vijay and Pawan Mishra, they're sharing their experiences with us. We'll continue to follow this story after the Myanmar earthquake and its impact and devastation that it's caused in other parts as well, in Bangkok as well. With that, we'll slip into a short break. News and updates continue right here on NDTV.